Share. PPT open. Hello.
हॅलो सर.
गुड मॉर्निंग सर.
हो दिसतंय सर.
हो सर दिसतीये.
ठीक आहे. ओके, आताचं जे लेक्चर आहे आपण रिपीट करणार आहे पाठीमागचं लेक्चर. आज लेक्चर आपण अलॉट केलं होतं कोळी सरांना. कोळी सरांना जरा दुसरं काम लागलं आणि मागच्या वेळेला माझी पीपीटी तुम्हाला पाहता आलेली नाही, त्यामुळे आज आपण लेक्चर रिपीट करूया आणि पुढे जाऊया. ओके.
हा सर.
Last time we have seen the introduction regarding the development of the digestive system. Okay, we have started paper number 9, that is the comparative account of the digestive system in vertebrates. Okay, so we are studying this comparative account in relation to the fishes and amphibians. In the last lecture we have seen during the development of the embryo what is the role of the mesoderm and the endoderm in the development of the gut, as well as the role of the rat cage pouch. Okay, so endoderm and the mesoderm, it play important role in the development of the entire gut, as well as the digestive gland, that is the liver and the pancreas. Okay, now let us consider the first one, that is the digestive system in case of the scoliodon. Here we are taking the example from the scoliodon. Are you observing this slide? Slide दिसते का?
Yes sir. Hello, दिसतीये सर slide.
Okay, the title is given comparative account of the digestive system in vertebrate, and the example we are considering here is the scoliodon. So let us learn about the digestive system in the first class, that is the fishes. So from fishes onward we are passing towards the amphibians, then the reptiles, birds and the mammal. So today let us consider the digestive system in case of the fishes and in amphibian. Here the example from the fish is scoliodon. As you know, digestive system, it is divided into the two main components, that is alimentary canal and the digestive gland. Alimentary canal, it is a long tube. It starts with mouth and it ends at the terminal end with anus or the cloaca. Okay, so all along its length, this alimentary canal, it shows the various parts and it is having the variable diameter. Okay, so alimentary canal, it starts with mouth in fish. In scoliodon, the fish, in scoliodon, the mouth is wide. Okay, it is a crescentic, meaning it is C-shaped and located on the ventral side of the head. It is bounded by the folds of integument, meaning two leaves are absent in the fishes. Only there is a covering of the skin, that is integument. So this is all about regarding the mouth. So mouth is wide, it is crescent shaped, located on the ventral side of the head, and the border, that is the jaws, these are covered only with the help of the skin. Mouth further leads into a spacious cavity. That cavity is called as the buccal cavity. If you see this figure, in this figure, the entire digestive system is shown. So here, this one is the crescent shaped mouth. Mouth inside leads into the buccal cavity, and this buccal cavity further continues into the esophagus. So this is the region of the esophagus. Further, this dilated chamber, it is called as the stomach. This initial portion of the stomach is cardiac stomach. Then it is followed by the pyloric stomach. In between the cardiac and the pyloric stomach, here a sphincter valve is present. While at the end of this pyloric stomach, here a globular muscular chamber is present. It is called as the bursa antenna. From the bursa antenna onward, again the tube it dilates. This dilated tube, it is known as the rectum, and this rectum further opens into the cloacal chamber. Here one cylindrical structure is seen. The cylindrical structure, it is known as the rectal gland. So this is the rectal gland. Now come to the buccal cavity. So this buccal cavity, mouth further continues into the buccal cavity. This buccal cavity, it is a spacious cavity and dorsoventrally flattened structure. It is bordered by the jaws, and the jaws are embedded. The jaws are provided with the teeth. Okay, so teeth are simply embedded into the skin. They are not embedded into the cartilage of the jaw. So all teeth are similar. So this condition is called as the homodont condition. All teeth are similar. This condition is known as the homodont. We have 4 types of teeth. That is incisor, canine, premolar, and molar. So we have heterodont condition. In case of Scoliodon, this condition is known as the homodont. And another one, the term is written as the polyphodont. Poly meaning many. That is, teeth arises many times throughout the life. This condition is called as the polyphodont. We have diphodont condition. That is, we have 2 sets of teeth. The first teeth is called as the milk teeth, and after falling down of the milk teeth, the second teeth arises. These are called as the permanent teeth. So we have the 2 sets of teeth. So our condition is the diphodont. In case of Scoliodon, the condition is polyphodont. Means many times when the teeth are destroyed, these teeth arises again and again. So these teeth are basically useful to grasp the prey or for holding the prey. In case of fishes, tongue is non-muscular and it is non-glandular and non-protrusible. Okay, in case of mammal, tongue is muscular, it is provided with the glands, that is glandular, and we can able to protrude out our tongue. But in case of fishes, tongue is non-muscular, non-glandular, and the non-protrusible type, and it is simply the fold of the mucous membrane. From the buccal cavity, the next chamber arises, which is called as the pharynx. Okay, so the pharynx, it is the large cavity and located posterior side of the buccal cavity, and on either side of the pharynx there present the 5 pairs of the gill slits. Okay, so from the mouth, food is taken inside. At the same time, or at the time of respiration, the water is also taken through the mouth, and that water is thrown out through these gill slits. So on either side of the pharynx, 5 pairs of gill slits are present. So by washing or by bathing the gills, the water passes out, and where the gases are diffused, that is the process of respiration is carried out. Here also, the food which is taken into the mouth, it enters into the buccal cavity, then enters into the pharynx, and further from the pharynx, it goes into the esophagus. Okay, so this is all about regarding the mouth, buccal cavity, and the pharynx. Let us come to the next region, that is the esophagus, then stomach, intestine, and the erecta. Now see here the figure. In this figure, this region, it is known as the esophagus. So esophagus, it is very short, it is white tube, and it is thick-walled muscular structure. What is the role of this esophagus? This esophagus, by the contractile movement, it only passes the food in the forward direction, that is into the cardiac stomach. The inside membrane, inner membrane, it is known as the mucous membrane. That mucous membrane shows the folded nature. Now come to the stomach. This is the first region of the stomach. The stomach is U-shaped. This is one half of the U-shaped loop, and this is another half. So this structure, it remains as the U-shaped structure. So first dilated chamber, this dilated proximal chamber, it is called as the cardiac stomach, while the posterior tubular chamber, it is known as the pyloric stomach. So this stomach, it is U-shaped. Proximal limb or the proximal chamber is called as the cardiac chamber. It is wider and distensible. So it is wider. It is having the elastic property. While this distal limb, it is narrow, tubular, and it is short than that of the cardiac stomach. So in between this esophagus, so this region is esophagus, in between esophagus and the cardiac stomach, here the first wall is present. This wall, it prevents the entry of food. Further, it prevents the backward entry of food from the cardiac stomach again into the esophagus. So when the wall are closed, the food do not go back again into the buccal cavity. Then, in the junction between the cardiac and the pyloric stomach, this is the cardiac stomach, this one is the pyloric stomach. So this is the junction point. So at the junction point, a blind sac is present. This blind sac, it is called as the, and inside that, the wall is present, that wall which separates the cardiac stomach from the pyloric stomach. And at the end of this pyloric stomach, this is tubular pyloric stomach, at the end of the pyloric stomach, a circular wall is present. This circular wall, it is guarding the opening further into the bursa intestina. Okay, so three walls are present. Here is the first wall between the esophagus and the stomach. Here is the second wall between cardiac stomach and the pyloric stomach. And here is the third wall that is in between the pyloric stomach and the intestine. Now come to the intestine. Intestine, this is the portion of the intestine. This intestine, it is straight, it is a wide tube, and it starts behind the bursa intestina. This anterior region of the intestine, it receives the bile and the pancreatic ducts. Okay, and the inner lining of this intestine, it shows the longitudinal spiral folds. If you see the figure here, in this figure, longitudinal section is taken, and after removing the outer layer, the inside mucosa, it shows the spirally coiled spring-like structure. It is called as the spiral wall. Generally 2.5 turns these are formed, and these 2.5 turns, it form the wall. This is known as the scroll wall. What is the use of this scroll wall? The first use that it decreases the rate of flow of food. That is, it delays the passage of food through the intestine. And the second function of the scroll wall is that it increases the absorptive surface area. So these two functions are carried out by the scroll wall. The first one, it delays the passage of food, and the second one, it increases the absorptive area. Now come to the last portion of this intestine, that is the rectum. So the rectum, it is the last or the terminal portion. It narrows, its narrow portion, it opens into the common chamber, which is known as the cloaca. And before opening, a finger-shaped projection, this is finger-shaped projection. That finger-shaped projection, it arises, located, it opens in dorsally into the rectum. The structure is called as the rectal gland. Okay, so this is regarding the rectum and the rectal gland. The rectum actually it is used for the temporary storage of the undigested food material. Now come to the last part of the digestive system in case of the fish, that is the digestive gland. As you know, we have already studied the digestive glands. These are two. The first one is the liver and the second one is the pancreas. Here, if you see the figure, in that figure, both the glands are not shown. That is liver and the pancreas, it is not shown, but liver, it is present into the abdominal cavity and on either side of this cardiac stomach. So this is the region. This is one lobe of liver is present here, another lobe is present here. While the pancreas, it is a diffuse gland, it is also present close to the small intestine. That is in between the cardiac stomach and in between the pyloric stomach. So it is the diffuse gland. Now let us consider information of the liver. You know that the liver in fish, it is a bilobe, meaning it shows the two lobes. Liver shows the two lobes. Okay. Meaning this condition is known as the bilobed condition. The color of the liver is yellowish. That is, variable color is observed in vertebrate. In fish, Color of liver is yellowish in case of the mammal as well as the reptile, and the bird, the color is dark brown in color. Okay, so it is bilobed yellowish gland, largest gland in the body, and both the lobes they extend freely into the abdominal cavity. Beneath from this esophagus onward, both these limbs or both the lobes of the liver they extend deeply into the abdominal cavity. It means it is much longer. Further, on the right side of the liver lobe, there is present a V-shaped, thin-walled gallbladder, and this gallbladder it is useful for the temporary storage of the bile. Okay, the bile duct further, which arises from the gallbladder, it enters into the intestine. Okay, bile duct which arises from the gallbladder, it enters into the anterior end of the intestine. This is the duct is shown here. This is the bile duct. So this bile duct it enters into the anterior end of the intestine, and the secretion, that is the bile, it is carried into the intestine. Liver is also useful to store glycogen. Lower liver is useful for the storage of the glycogen, that is excess glucose is converted into the glycogen by the liver and it is stored for the future use. As well as it is useful for the storage of the fat, and another function of the liver is that it destroys the worn out erythrocyte or the RBC. That is, RBCs, it is the red blood cell. It is having the specific lifespan. After completion of the lifespan, these red blood cells, these are broken down, these are destroyed into the liver. So this is another function of the liver. Now come to the another gland, that is the pancreas. So pancreas, it is much compact gland. It is white or pale bilobed gland. This gland, it shows the two lobes, that is the longer lobe, it is called as the dorsal lobe running parallel to the cardiac stomach, and this smaller lobe, it is called as the ventral lobe, it is close to the pyloric stomach. Meaning one lobe of the pancreas, it is close to the cardiac stomach, and another lobe, it is close to the pyloric stomach. So in that fashion, the pancreas, it is also bilobed, similar to the liver, but it is whitish, while liver is yellowish in color. Okay, so this pancreatic duct which arises from the pancreas, they further fuses with the bile duct, and these commonly they open. Further, the duct which arises from the pancreas, these are called as the pancreatic duct. So these pancreatic duct, they transverse, meaning come out from the tissues of the pancreas and it open into the intestine opposite to the opening of the bile duct. Meaning bile duct, it opens separately into the pyloric stomach, while the pancreatic duct from the pancreas, it opens separately again into the stomach. There is no fusion or there is no union of the bile duct as well as the pancreatic duct. So there is no any combination. Combined tube is not formed in case of the fishes. It is formed in the amphibia. This is all about regarding the information of the digestive system in case of the Squaliodon. Now let me switch over to the another class, that is the amphibia. Here representative example we are considering is the frog. So let us consider the digestive system in the frog. Okay, so frog is representative example we are considering from the class amphibia. So this is the entire figure which shows the digestive system of amphibia. Now look at the figure. So this is the mouth. This mouth is wide and it is open. When mouth is open, okay, it shows the inner details. This is the upper jaw. This one is the lower jaw. Okay, and both the jaws are covered by the thin fold of the skin forming the lip. Okay, but these lips are not muscular, and it is also provided with the teeth. These teeth are called as the maxillary teeth. The inner details are also seen here. So this is the buccopharyngeal cavity, that is buccal cavity. It combined with the pharyngeal cavity in frog. So this larger and the spacious cavity is called as the buccopharyngeal cavity. Then, from the buccopharyngeal cavity onward, there starts a tube. This tube, it is called as the esophagus. This esophagus is continues into the J-shaped structure, that is the stomach. And this stomach, further, it is converted into the small intestine. So this is the coiled portion, which is called as the small intestine. It is further divided into two regions. This is the straight portion of the small intestine, and it is known as the duodenum. And this is the coiled portion of the small intestine. It is called as the ileum. Further, the large intestine is started. This is the dilated portion of the large intestine. It is called as the rectum, which further opens into the cloacal chamber. Okay, so this is regarding the alimentary canal. Now come to the digestive gland. Here in the figure, digestive glands are shown. This is one lobe. It is called as the right lobe. This is another lobe. It is called as the left lobe, and this is known as the median lobe. So right lobe is intact, while this left lobe is subdivided into the left lobe and the median lobe. Okay, so this is the bright red colored or brick red colored liver is there. Now on the right lobe of liver, here a globular structure is shown, sac-like structure is shown. It is called as the gallbladder. Okay, so this one is known as the gallbladder. This gallbladder, it is useful for the temporary storage of the, it temporarily stores the bile. Okay, further, the bile which is temporarily stored, it is further released into the bile duct. Okay, so this bile duct, it passes through this pancreas. Now the another gland, that is the pancreas. Here this irregular gland, it is shown here. This is the diffuse gland. It is called as the pancreas. Okay, now let us consider further detail. As usual, digestive system is divided into two regions: the alimentary canal and the digestive gland. So we are considering here example, that is the frog from the class Amphibia. Alimentary canal, as usual, it shows the mouth, then the buccopharyngeal cavity, esophagus, J-shaped stomach, then the small intestine, and the portion of the large intestine. Come to the mouth. If you see the mouth, in case of the frog, this mouth is wide. Okay, and it is extended from the angle of the jaw. This is the angle of the jaw. And this mouth is bounded by the jaws with the immovable lips. Here, if you consider the body of the frog, mouth is much wider. Why this is the case? Because of the absence of neck. As a neck is absent in the frog, mouth is much wide, so that the frog can able to throw out the tongue in any direction to capture the insect prey. Okay. This mouth, further, it leads into the buccopharyngeal cavity. Here, buccal cavity and the pharyngeal cavity, it is common cavity, so it is known as the buccopharyngeal cavity. Okay, now this anterior portion of the buccal cavity and the posterior portion, that is the pharynx, they are combined. If you see this buccal cavity, this is the root portion of the buccal cavity, and this is floor portion of the buccal cavity. If you observe the roof, it is formed by the upper jaw, and this upper jaw, it shows the presence of the teeth. These are called as the maxillary teeth. Another pair of teeth is present. These two teeth, these are called as the vomerine teeth, and on either side of the vomerine teeth, the two openings are present. These openings are called as the internal nares. Okay, that is external nares opens by this internal nares into the buccopharyngeal cavity. Then, at the base of this, there present the opening of the eustachian aperture, that is the opening of the middle ear. Further, the floor of the buccopharyngeal cavity, it is formed by the lower jaw. Okay, lower jaw is from the floor. Here, various structures present on the lower jaw. It includes, the first structure is the presence of the tongue. Here, tongue is present. The tongue is bifurcated at the posterior end. It is attached to the anterior end. Okay, so such type of tongue, it can be thrown out very easily. and prey is capture. Tongue is sticky for capturing the prey. Then at the base of the tongue, here two openings are present. A wide horizontal opening, it is known as the gullet, while the circular opening, it is known as the glottis. Glottis, it is the opening of the respiratory system. That is, through this glottis, air passes further into the trachea. While through this gullet, the food which is taken into the big pharyngeal cavity, it further passes into the esophagus, that is into the food canal. Then on either side there present the two another opening. These are the openings shown here. These are openings of the vocal sacs. Okay, if this frog is a male frog, then male frog shows the presence of the vocal sacs outside, that is at the region of the throat, and which opens inside by this opening of the vocal sac. Vocal sacs are used for making the croaking sound to attract the female during the breeding season, that is during the breeding season, during the rainy season. Here, then, this upper jaw, group of the buccopharyngeal cavity, it shows the swollen portion, rounded swollen portion. It is known as the inbulgings of the eyeball. When the eyes are closed, then the bulgings are observed on the roof. So these bulgings are called as the inbulgings of the eyeball. Okay. Then at the anterior end of the jaw, of the upper jaw, there presents the structure. That structure is called as the tubercle. Here, the tubercle and the foci, these are the two structures. Foci are present on the upper jaw, and the tubercles, meaning outpushings, are present on the lower jaw. Okay. Here, outpushings are present at the tip, and here inpushings, that is the foci, these are present on the tip of the upper jaw. So when mouth is tightly closed, these tubercles, they fit into the foci, so that mouth get tightly closed, and the prey, that is the insect, it is not escaped from the mouth cavity. So that is the use of the foci and the tubercle. Now come to the esophagus. From this gullet, a tube is started. This tube, it is called as the esophagus. The esophagus, it is short and it is wide muscular tube. It is having a distensible capacity, that is, it is elastic. Okay, so that as it is elastic, it shows the conduction power, that is, food, it is conducted into the stomach. So esophagus is simply a conducting tube. Now come to the stomach. So this region, the J-shaped structure, it is called as the stomach. So stomach is broad, it is a broad bag, it is curved, and it is thick walled. It is located on the left side of the body cavity, and further it shows two regions. Here there is spelling mistake. It shows the two regions, that is the anterior portion, it is called as the cardiac stomach, and the posterior portion, it is known as the pyloric stomach. So this pyloric end, it shows the presence of the pyloric sphincter. So at the end of the pyloric stomach, pyloric wall is present. This stomach is useful to secrete the gastric juice, which contain the hydrochloric acid, as well as it consists of the enzyme pepsinogen. So the HCl, it is useful for maintaining the acidic pH, as well as to kill the prey, and pepsinogen, it is the protein digesting enzyme which act on the protein. This stomach further continues into the small intestine. Small intestine, it is a long, coiled, and 30 centimeter. Small intestine, it is long tube, about 30 centimeter, and it is coiled one. Okay, so this coiled tube, this is the coiled tube. Why it is coiled? Because the length of the small intestine, it is much more than the body length. So to fit the intestine into such a small space, it must be folded. So it is coiled into the body cavity. So here, this small intestine, it is divided into the two regions. The straight portion, it is called as the duodenum, and this coiled portion is called as the ileum. So duodenum, it runs parallel to the stomach, and further it forms the U-shaped loop. This duodenum, it further receives the one common duct. It is called as the hepatopancreatic duct, which carries the bile and the pancreatic juice into the duodenum. Now come to the ileum. Next portion, it is the ileum. Ileum, this is the posterior portion of the small intestine. It is coiled, and internally, that is, if you see the internal structure in the transverse section, you know that the four layers are present. Outer layer, it is called as the serosa. Inside the serosa, there present muscular layer. Again, there present the submucosa, and innermost layer, it is called as the mucosa. So this mucosa layer is in contact with the food material. Okay. So the inner area or the internal lining, it shows the longitudinal folds, which increases the area for the digestion as well as for the absorption. Now, the next part is the large intestine. Large intestine, it is also known as the rectum. It is much short into the frog. It is 4 centimeter, and further it opens into the common chamber, that is the cloaca. And this opening is guarded by the sphincter. That is known as the cloacal sphincter or the anal sphincter. As the rectum is very short, what is the role of rectum? Rectum, it is useful only to absorb the water. Only water absorption takes place into the rectum, and it temporarily stores the fecal matter or the undigested food material. Last part of the alimentary canal, it is the common chamber, which is known as the cloaca. Cloaca, it is the short chamber behind the rectum, and it receives 3 main substances. The first one is the urine from the urinary system, fecal matter from the alimentary canal or from the digestive system, and the genital products from the reproductive system. So all these 3 products, it come into the common chamber, and at a proper time they are thrown out by opening the cloacal aperture. It is also guarded by the sphincter wall. Here, a single figure is shown. In that single figure, digestive glands, in case of frog, these are shown. This is the larger gland. This is the right lobe of liver. This is left lobe of liver, and this is the median lobe of the liver. Okay. Here is the presence of the gallbladder. Bladder-like structure is gallbladder. From these lobes of the liver, the many ducts arises. These ducts are called as the hepatic ducts. These all hepatic ducts, it further combine to form the cystic duct, which enters into this gallbladder. Okay. One duct, it come out, and further it form the common bile duct. This common bile duct, by receiving the pancreatic duct, it opens into this duodenum. That is the anterior portion of the small intestine, which is straight one. So in this figure, the largest digestive gland, liver, is shown. Then another gland, that is the pancreas, it is shown in between the U-shaped lobe. Now let us consider further details of the liver. So liver, it is largest digestive gland present in the body of the frog. What is the color of liver? Color is reddish brown. That is bright red in color or reddish brown color. Where it is located? It is located on the right side. So this is right side of the body cavity. It is located on the right side. And further it shows the right lobe of liver and the left lobe of liver. Left lobe is subdivided into the median lobe. So it shows right lobe, left lobe, and the median lobe. Gallbladder. What is gallbladder? Gallbladder, it is thin-walled, green-colored sac, and it is located between the lobes. Actually, gallbladder is towards the bile, and it only emits or liberates that bile into the duodenum or into the initial or the original portion of the small intestine. So from these lobes of the liver, many hepatic duct arises. All hepatic ducts came together to form the common bile duct, and this common bile duct further innervate the pancreas, and while passing through the pancreas, it receives many pancreatic duct. So bile duct plus pancreatic duct, it form commonly hepatopancreatic duct, and this hepatopancreatic duct, it opens into the initial portion of the small intestine, that is the duodenum. Now come to the pancreas. Okay, so this pancreas, what is the color? It is cream color or yellow color. Where it is located? It is located between stomach. This is stomach and this is duodenum. So this is the pancreas. It is located in between stomach and in between the duodenum. It is a dual gland. Dual meaning it is a double gland. It means some part of the pancreas, it works as exocrine part, while some part of the pancreas, it works as a endocrine part or the endocrine gland. You already studied these endocrine glands in your BSc2 classes. So exocrine part of the pancreas, it shows the spatial tissue. It is known as the pancreatic acinar, or the acinar cells are present. These acinar cells, it secretes the pancreatic juice. So this pancreatic juice, it consists of the several enzymes, that is the protein digesting enzyme, carbohydrate digesting enzyme, and the fat digesting or the fat splitting enzyme. So all such enzymes are present in the pancreatic juice, which are useful for the digestion of these three types of material into the small intestine. While the endocrine part, if you see the endocrine part, in the transverse section of the pancreas, pancreatic acinas are there, and in between the pancreatic acina, group of cells are present. These group of cells are present. These are known as the islets of Langerhans. So these are patches of these cells known as the islets of Langerhans. Meaning three types of cells are present in that islets. The first cells, these are called as the alpha cells. Second one is known as the beta cells, and the third one it is known as the delta cells. So these three types of cells, they came together and it formed a group. That group is called as the islets, and discovered by the Langerhans. So it is called as the islets of the Langerhans. What is the role of that islet of Langerhans? As it consists of the three types of cells, that is alpha, beta, and the delta cells. Alpha cells, it secrete insulin. Beta cell secretes glucagon, and the delta cells, it secrete the somatostatin hormone. Okay, so the alpha cells which secrete the insulin, what is the role of the insulin? That you know, insulin, it decreases the glucose level in the body. That is the blood glucose level, it is decreased with the help of the insulin. Well, what is the role of the glucagon? Glucagon, it increases the sugar level, meaning the function of the insulin and the glucagon, it is antagonistic. Okay, it is antagonistic, exactly opposite to each other. That is, alpha cells, it decreases blood sugar level, and the beta cell, it increases the blood sugar level. While the delta cells, it secretes the hormone somatostatin. The role of the somatostatin, you search for that somatostatin and what is its role. So it is your job to find the role of the somatostatin. So by that way, the alpha cell and the beta cell, they maintain the glucose level in the body. Okay, so today we have repeatedly studied the digestive system in case of Scoliodon and the digestive system in case of the frog, that is in amphibia. Okay, समझ लगा आज तरी? Okay, have you followed? अरे आवाज येतोय का?
हो सर येतोय.
ना समजली का आज दोन्ही सिस्टीम?
येस सर, समजली.
हा,
हो
शेअर स्क्रीन तुम्ही बघितली ना? स्लाइड बघितल्या ना?
हो
हो
सर.
सर.
हो सर.
तुम्हाला पीपीटी पण मी ऑलरेडी तुमच्या मेलवर पाठवलेली आहे.
हो.
ओके. बरं, तुम्हाला काय अडचण आहे का? डिफिकल्टी आहे का? डिफिकल्टी
नाही सर.
नाही ना?
नाही.
आज किती जण आहेत तुम्ही एकूण?
आता सर 17 जण आहेत.
आज
22
17 जण.
ऑनलाईन 22.
22.
पहिले
आणि
22 आता 17 आहेत.
जॉईन
होय.
केले होते. हा
22 ने जॉईन केलं होतं ना?
हा.
काही शंका असेल तर विचारा.
अजून ग्रुपला बॉईज नाही झाले सर अजून वाईड. बॉईजचं
काय झालं?
ऍडमिशन बॉईजचं अजून ऍडमिशन नाही झालं हो.
बॉयचं झालेलं नाही का? तर त्यांनी काय केली पाहिजे ना? का?
तेच ना.
कारण आपल्याला परत टेस्ट घ्यायला सांगितलेली आहे कॉलेजनं. ऑटोनॉमस मध्ये गेलाय तुम्ही काय? आता आपल्याला विद्यापीठ नाही परीक्षा, तुमची
हा.
परीक्षा आम्ही घेणार आहोत ना, कॉलेज घेणार आहे ऑटोनॉमस मध्ये. पहिली
हा.
टेस्ट आता या प्राचार्यांनी घ्यायला लावलेली आपल्याला लवकर. त्यासाठी सिलेबस थोडा झाला पाहिजे. बाकीच्यांना ऍडमिशन घेऊन लेक्चरला बसायला सांगा काय.
हो हो.
सर
हा बोला.
मी तुम्हाला कॉल करून विचारते ते 5 सप्टेंबरचा.
हा काय
हॅलो.
कशाचं विचार? हा 5 सप्टेंबरचं का शिक्षक दिनाचं?
हा हा
हो चालतंय ना, विचारा.
हा ठीक आहे.
ओके ठीक आहे. बंद करू का मी?
हा सर. लेक्चर
हो,
कोणाचं
सर.
आहे आता परत?
गेले सर.
लेक्चर कोणाचं आहे?
मला नाही आठवत.
नसेल ना,
कोणाचं लेक्चर आहे?
आल्यावर समजेल ना, एवढी काय पडली आहे.
तर
मी बंद करतेय. मी
ए,
मोबाईल वरून येते नंतर.
ग्रुपवर लिंक पाठवा मग जॉईन होतो.
दुसरं लेक्चर
ते 12:30ला चालू होतं ना.
हा
10 मिनिटांनी या परत सगळे.
हा ओके बाय बाय.
बाय.
बाय.